Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today's look and just overall video is going to be about the Organic Skin Co. We're going to do like an overall brand review talking about their sustainability, whether they're a good brand or not, if they're clean, etc. So if you are someone who is busy, you are on the go, you're a mom, you're a professional, you have a lot of stuff on your plate, this is going to be for you. If you like cream products specifically that are really easy to blend, that melt into the skin, this is going to be for you. If you are just interested in the Organic Skin Co. as a brand, or you're just interested in like clean organic makeup products in general, how they perform, if they're worth the hype, this is going to be for you. I also had some personal and professional life changes come up just within the last like 7 days this week. I'm going to be telling you guys about those as well, just because they are going to affect the way that I go about posting content on this channel. If you're interested in any of the things I just mentioned, then go ahead and stick around because we are starting right now. So if I'm looking down at my notes here, it's because I'm going to go through these real quick before we get into the makeup, just so you guys understand exactly what this brand stands for, ethics and sustainability wise. The Organic Skin Co. is a clean brand and they pride themselves on certifications, and they talk about this a lot on their website. They're cruelty-free, vegan, and organic certified, but here's the thing, there are different ways to certify yourself. Obviously you can go through different organizations and entities to get a certification, and the Organic Skin Co. does talk about how they got these certifications. So for cruelty-free specifically, there are three main organizations out there that people use, but PETA, or the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, is what the Organic Skin Co. opted for. And the reason I bring this up is because every single entity that you can get certified through is different in the requirements that they have for each company. So according to the PETA website, you have to never conduct, commission, pay for, or allow animal testing at any phase of development, and that goes for ingredients and final products. Also for the vegan standing, which the Organic Skin Co. also has from them, it seems. I think their vegan certification comes from PETA as well. They also cannot use any animal-derived ingredients at all, including beeswax, honey, and carmine, plus some others. I was glad that they actually said who they were certified through on their website, because that was easier for me to actually track down what that means for this brand. And then, interestingly enough, they did not get certified organic through PETA. I don't know if you even can, or if they just do cruelty-free and vegan certifications, but they were certified instead through a company called BioGrow. And I looked this up as well. In order to be certified organic through this company, you have to use 70% at least organic ingredients in all of your products. But the nice thing is they mentioned this on their website, and I double-checked. Every single one of their products on their website lists the percentage that it is organic. So if you're curious about a specific product, they list that as well. So far I think they're doing pretty darn well on being transparent. But hold on a second. Now we get into just more complicated areas of their practices. For example, their sourcing. They say on their website that they are sourced from mostly, I guess, from their community farms. And these are all Indian community farms. I didn't know, I don't know if you guys do, exactly what a community farm is, so I looked that up too. The idea seems to be that the corporation that is partnering with this community pays for the upkeep of the farms that are basically the entire agricultural system that are being used to source their products, and then the people in the community actually work those farms, but the community also gets to reap the benefits of the farms as well. So it seems like part of the farms are used to source products for this partnership, this company, and other parts of the farm can be used to grow actual food for the community. The only thing that raised a red flag here is that I could not find anywhere if the farmers or people working the agriculture here are actually being compensated, like monetarily, which they absolutely should be. Now that's not me assuming that they aren't, I'm just saying I didn't necessarily see that they are. It did not say on the Organic Skin Co. website, just throwing that out there. Then finally, in terms of their actual like sustainability practices, they have the one product, one tree kind of like program that they use. Apparently they are partnering with a company called Eden Reforestation Projects. I really liked this part of their website because before they even go into the entire program that they've set up here with one product, one tree, they actually talk about the detrimental effects of deforestation on the globe, the planet, which is really, really cool. I like that they actually included some science and information to educate people as well, rather than just saying, hey, look, we plant a tree for every product you purchase. So Eden, the company that they're actually working with, their own goal, this isn't Organic Skin Co., it's their goal, but they are partnering, was to be planting 100 million trees per year by the year 2020. So that basically means like in 2019, who knows if they did plant exactly 100 million trees per year, but this year's 2020, their goal by the end of this year is to be doing that consistently every year from here on out. And the other thing that I did read about Eden Reforestation Project specifically is that they help to create jobs for local indigenous communities worldwide. And that really sat well with me because I don't know if I've mentioned this in other videos, but indigenous communities have a really soft spot in my heart because for a couple months when I was younger, I lived in Mexico and I worked in a Mayan village there in an indigenous community. It was just fascinating to me. I'm not going to dive into all the details. That could be a whole different video telling you about that experience, but it means a lot to me to know that these communities aren't being forgotten, but that they are also being respected culturally, I hope. But a lot of them do struggle because a lot of indigenous communities choose not to assimilate fully into modern life. A lot of them still want to maintain and protect their culture. So sometimes finding jobs and making a living in this day and age is a little bit difficult for them. And so it makes me really happy to hear that they're trying to provide jobs for that specific group of people. And then finally, just to kind of give you a rundown of what they do with their ingredients, I looked through all of their products and it looks like they use a lot of castor oil and like sunflower and pomegranate seed oil. Things that stand out there for me is sunflower oil because my skin specifically has such a positive reaction to that. It just makes my skin really, really soft. I don't know if it's that way for everyone, but sunflower oil, when I see it in something, I love it. All right, we are finally ready to move on to the actual palette, which I'm so excited to tell you about. So this is the palette that I got from the Organic Skin Co. This is what it looks like up close. It's got that like gold engraving, and this is a completely wooden palette. There are 3 different palette shades. I got the shade Stone, which is this nice white shade. They also have a blush shade, which is kind of a nice pastel pink, and then they have one called Charcoal, which is all black. And then you have 8 shades. I believe that they sell a 4 shade one as well. You can design it all on your own on the website, so you can customize what you want. But there are a couple different concealer shades, and I went for this one here, which is Soft Honey. And also in their concealer shades, they have a Sculpt color, which is this one over here. So it's called Sculpt. I think it's really supposed to be like a contouring color, or maybe even like a bronzer color. So it's still in their concealers because I think it's meant to be like the same formulation as the concealer. It dries down matte, and some people with a lot darker skin tones could still use it as a concealer, but I use it as a contour shade. And then I have this highlight right here, which is in the shade Lunar. It's kind of their white highlight. They only have 2 different highlight shades. The other one is kind of like a champagne-y rose gold. And then I have 4 eyeshadow shades. This is the shade Misty. This is what I used in my most recent protruding eyes, like really simple look video. This is the shade Misty. This one up here is called Deep Purple. I haven't gone into this one much. I don't know which one I'm going to use today, but it might be this one. And then I have Greenstone over here, and then Daydreamer right here. So these 4 are the eyeshadow shades. And then I have one of their cheeky lip colors up here. I got it in the shade Spice. All of the pods in this palette are cream. They do have powder eyeshadows. I just wanted an all cream palette, and I'll kind of explain why once I actually get to applying these. But then also you can see all the holes on the back here. You can just pop out, like stick a little pin in there, pop out the pod once you are done with it, the little pan, and you can just order a new one, and it's magnetic and it just pops right in there. All right guys, so now that I have all the details out of the way and you guys have hopefully all the information you were looking for on this brand, I'm gonna go ahead and just apply these products, get a really natural face, let you know what I'm using as I'm using it and how I like to use it, but then also just kind of update you on what's going on. I hope that's all right with you. So I'm going in with concealer first. I'm not even going to use a foundation today. I'm just going to see if I can't cover up the imperfections that I want to and go for a super, super natural everyday look, which I really think is what this palette is best used for. When I was buying this palette, for some reason, like it makes me think of this one experience that I had last year. I had a job interview with this tech company and they flew me out to Boston, and I was just like held up in a hotel for a few days while I went through the interview process. It was kind of extensive, and I remember when I was packing for that trip, I knew I was only going to be there for a few days, and so I didn't want necessarily to bring like my entire makeup collection, but I did want something that was kind of compact that I could use to just get a really natural look. And I didn't have this palette yet, and so I ended up kind of having to pack more makeup than I thought was really necessary just because, well, one, I wanted to make a good first impression and I didn't know like what I was going to be in the mood to use that day. Wow, I have really been outside a lot lately, something else I'm going to update you guys on. And so this concealer shade is not matching me as nicely as it would have a few weeks ago. We'll see if we can work with it. Anyway, when I was considering buying this palette, that's kind of what I was thinking of. Like, this is just the perfect travel palette because it has concealer, it has contour, it has, you know, a couple colorful shades. It's really got everything that I would need, you know, in a pinch. And it's all cream products, which I think is kind of what I lean toward when I want something like a really easy everyday face. Okay, so I applied that with my fingers and I am looking a little pale, but we do still have the contour and the cheek product to add, so hopefully this looks a little bit more lively in a minute. I don't always use my fingers to apply this palette, but really I wouldn't recommend a brush. I've tried a brush for like the blush specifically and I think that works okay. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like with a sponge today, just so you kind of get an idea. So I'm going to be going in to this contour shade, the shade Sculpt. And I really take my time with this one because it is kind of concentrated and it's also a little warmer than I thought it would be. Okay, so it did take a hot minute to just kind of like blend this all out with this damp sponge, just to make sure that I have it all in the places that I want it to be and just really like press it into the skin. But ultimately, I do think that it ends up giving a really nice, almost bronzy effect, especially when you kind of like spread it out like that. And then for the nose specifically, I'm going to use my fingers to just kind of contour it. So I have like a little bit here and I'm just going to run this down the area that I like it to be and just kind of use my finger to blend that in toward the nose. Okay, so we're looking better. I think I want to put a little bit more up there. And then we're going to go in with the sponge and just kind of tap the sides of the nose to make sure that's all blended. I always get really red right here on my nose and I have to like cover that up with concealer every 2 seconds. Sorry, I keep looking in the viewfinder because like in this lighting situation, I feel like it's kind of helping me to see how it'll look to you guys on camera because it looks very different in the mirror. Have you guys been too far out? Let me get you a little bit closer. So next I'm gonna go in with that highlight in the shade Lunar. I'll actually like rotate the sponge in the pans pretty often here just because they kind of start dry, which is actually one of the complaints that I've heard most about these products is just that they're kind of dry to start off with. But I don't mind that too much because they're not too messy. And the second that I actually warm them up on the skin, they look really, really nice. Okay, so you guys can already see that highlight poking through. I'm not one to go for like really white highlights very often, but this is one that I really like. Okay, so I just popped that up on the brow bone as well, and you can see that instantly just lightens the entire face, brings light to the areas you want it to bring light to. So finally, we can move on to blush. I'm gonna do this lovely method I've been doing the entire video and just revolve around. That's a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna dab that onto the back of my hand before actually going into the face with it. I got a little much. But that's what it looks like on the back of the hand, just kind of spreading it out. And I'm just going to start by lightly tapping. So the update that I wanted to give you guys was more related to my day job. I know in my last video, not my last video, my little announcement video that I was talking about doing YouTube full-time in, that is still something that I really am dreaming of doing. And it's a challenge that I would love to do for 30 days. I would love for this channel to be all about mindful beauty and living. That's the reason that I chose that little motto. Part of what I want to just kind of promote on this channel is being able to roll with the punches as they come. While on the subject of rolling with the punches, right after I filmed that video, I got a call from my boss at my day job. I'll just cut straight to the chase. I am going to be working, I already am working, I'm a week in at this point, 12-hour days for probably like 70-hour work weeks for a couple weeks. I thought that when this job picked back up, it would kind of have like a slow return at least. And I was so wrong. My boss just called me and said, hey, are you ready to come back? If so, let's just hit the ground running. We have this project that is related to COVID that we're going to be helping out with, and they need us now. So I signed on. I said, yes, absolutely. I was really, really excited, and I am really excited. I've been enjoying this past week of working this way, even though it is really crazy and it is really long days. I had a 15-hour day at one point this week because the process that we're doing right now, I can't tell you exactly what it is just because I want to keep my, my privacy. And just to clarify, I am not a medically trained individual. I'm not in the medical field whatsoever. But I am working with a lot of medical personnel right now. We just had one day where this project that we're working on, we found a couple loopholes and flaws in it that we really needed to fix that day to continue to keep people safe and, get better and better at what we're doing. And so I stayed really late one night this week and then had to be back at like 6 a.m. the next day. Anyway, I thought you guys deserved that update because I did tell you in that video that I'm going to be posting a lot more frequently. I think I said 3 times a week, and I've since taken down that video for a little while just because I don't want to confuse people. I may still post 3 times some weeks, but right now things just got really crazy really fast. I mean, my boss called me and I was at work 3 days later doing this stuff. I, sat in on a billion Zoom calls and got the information I needed and just went. So I am rolling with the punches. I'm just taking the opportunities I'm given as they are given to me, and I am reassessing every single day, and I suggest you guys do the same. But if you're noticing any like discrepancies in what you were expecting from my schedule, that is probably why. Okay, so blush is on. I put quite a bit on, but I'm actually really liking how it looks. So I think what I'm gonna do is move on to eyeshadow. I do think that if you're like following along with this makeup tutorial by chance, it's not really a tutorial. Get ready with me. I definitely think that you could pause here and do some powdering situation. I'm just gonna show you guys what it looks like by itself today, so you kind of have an idea of how the products dry down and such, but powder works well with these products too. I've used that. I think it does fine. I'm leaning toward the green or the purple shades. I said earlier that I haven't really tried the purple shade yet, so I guess I'll do that. So I'm gonna use my finger, and as you can see, these warm up great. Let me swatch it on my hand for you first. This one has some sheen to it, not all of them do. I think you can just kind of like pick and choose the ones that you would like, but this has kind of like a brownie purple hue, and I actually kind of like that about all of their products, all of their eyeshadows. I mean, I feel like they're purposefully not super vibrant. I feel like they're meant to just be something that you can kind of blend and buff, and it can be a wash of color. I do also think that you could build this up quite a bit, but the ones that I've used so far, I really like using as an all over, just kind of like blurred out effect like I'm going to show you today. So you saw that I started in my inner corner. I'm just kind of working that around the eye. I'm not getting any new product, and I'm really just patting around the edges and on top of the eyelid to make sure that it's all dispersed kind of evenly. And just because I do have like deep set and protruding eyes, I may put a little more concealer on after putting on a purple shade, but I guess we'll kind of see what it looks like first. Let me do this on the other eye, get this like nice wash going, and then we can decide if we want to go a little more like heavy on the eyeshadow or just leave it as this nice wash. I will be right back. So I kind of like the overall wash on the side too, but as you can see, I've started here. I'm going to try to just build up the exact same color like in this crease area a little to give it a little more dimension. I'm just playing with this color. I don't think I've ever used this color in this palette. Okay, I put mascara on the eyes, and I also just brushed a gel through my brows, all of which will be linked down below. And I also changed my mind. I do want to go in with a little bit of powder just because I think we're looking a little too shiny underneath the eyes. Okay, yes, I think that's better. So we're finally ready for lips, and I am going to use a lip brush with this Cheeky Lips shade in the shade Spice, just because you've seen it in kind of like an all over wash on the cheeks. And at this point, I kind of want to show you guys what it looks like when it's built up on the lips. All right, so all of the products are applied on the face. This is what we're looking like from afar, but I do want to bring you guys in to really see what it looks like up close. So I think that this is a really beautiful finish. Yeah, you still see some of my imperfections. The eyeshadow isn't looking patchy, it's just looking like a wash of color. I think if you wanted to build it up, you definitely could. I've used brushes with this eyeshadow. I really prefer like a sponge or my hands to work with most of these products. But now you guys know what these products look like on the face, and honestly, for my needs, what I wanted them to be, I think they really lived up to my expectation for just like a nice travel palette that is easy to use, that can create like a nice fresh look. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you liked the video. I make tons of content like this all the time about mindful beauty and mindful living. So yeah, go ahead and click that button if you're interested. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes.